There are approximately 6,500 languages in the world. 2,000 of these languages have less than 1,000 speakers each. It is estimated by some that by 2100, up to 90% of these languages could be extinct. The Minister for Māori Development is reviewing the current Māori Language Bill to help ensure that Te Reo Māori is not one of those languages which is lost. The Minister has decided to establish a Maori Language Advisory Group to provide him with expert and independent advice about the bill. For a language to be safe and to thrive as a living language, it needs to be used in a wide variety of ways, to be learnt especially by young children and maintained in communities, to be used in situations and in ways that are important to its communities, to evolve and grow as a normal and relevant part of life, to be valued and respected by wider society, to have well-planned and managed strategies to protect its use and the rights of its speakers. There has been a lot of effort and focus on Te Reo Māori in the last 40 years from many groups, both Māori and the Crown. Our achievements are many. Te Reo Māori continues to be an official language of Aotearoa, New Zealand. We have 460 kohanga reo. There are 72 kura kaupapa. A TV station is dedicated to broadcasting only in Te Reo and another is bilingual. 29 iwi Māori radio stations broadcast with a high level of use of Te Reo. We have a wide range of books written in Te Reo in schools, libraries and in many shops. Some government and local government departments provide their information bilingually. Currently, the government spends about $225 million per year supporting Te Reo Māori. Despite these years of significant investment and effort, UNESCO continues to list Te Reo Māori as an endangered language. And recent census data shows us that despite all of our efforts, Te Reo Māori is continuing to slowly decline. Only 1 in 5 people are speakers of Māori. 5% of people claim to be able to speak Māori very well. Only 2.6% of speakers use Te Reo Māori as a primary language in their home. 10% of speakers use an equal mix of both Māori and English. Only 1 in 10 Māori children access Te Reo Māori at school. A child is more likely to be learning Te Reo Māori at ECE level than they are at primary or high school levels. If Te Reo Māori is to be safe and survive in the next 100 years, it needs to be spoken, not just on the marae or in classrooms or on the radio or for official purposes, but in the daily activities of whānau, in normal community interactions, in the richness and beauty of people's lives. Reports and reviews in recent years show us where we need to focus our attention. Many Crown agencies support Te Reo Māori, but more needs to be done to stop duplication and assist efforts that get stalled or distracted. Evidence shows us we need a well-planned approach so we learn from each other's successes and our mistakes, so that we can better identify the gaps and share the workload. The Crown has a clear role in language planning. It is best suited for supporting efforts in wider society with activities such as promoting the value of Te Reo, implementing well-coordinated language strategies in areas such as education, health and business development, and ensuring that communities and their activities are not impeded. Whānau, hapū and iwi also have a vital role in supporting community-level activity and promoting reo use in the home. In the past, whānau, hapū and iwi have not been well supported to drive local-level language initiatives. Te Reo Māori needs significant effort from both the Crown and whānau, hapū and iwi. By making each of their roles more clearly defined, we will understand the importance of a balanced approach. Each is enhanced by the support of the other. The Maori Language Te Reo Māori Bill had its first reading in the House in 2014, prior to the election. A number of concerns were raised by the public regarding the bill and the Māori language strategy. This led the current Minister for Māori Development to undertake a review of the bill prior to it going through the full process of enactment. The purpose of this review by an independent Māori Language advisory group is to ensure that the contents of the bill and the Māori language strategy are robust enough to ensure the future of Te Reo Māori. It is the advisory group's position that the purpose of the bill should be to establish clear direction and strategies for Te Reo Māori, to create opportunities for Māori to determine and drive outcomes for Te Reo, to clarify the roles and functions of both Māori and Crown in respect to Te Reo Māori, and to encourage and support greater collaboration and alignment. We describe this new approach as the House of Māori Language. Nau mai haramai, ki te whare o Te Reo Māori, he whare Reo Mauriora. Let's take a look at the different parts of our whare. The Teko Teko, the Māori Language Act, acts as a guardian for the language and helps safeguard our aspirations for Te Reo. Koruru represents the overarching vision for a Reo Māori strategy to which both Māori and the Crown have specific roles to play. There are two sides to this whare. One side for whānau, hapū and iwi, and the other for the Crown. Maihi. Each maihi represents the different strategy of both Māori and the Crown that will be developed to support the overarching vision for Te Reo. Holding up the maihi are the amo. Amo represent the two focus areas of Māori and the Crown. Māori will focus on communities and homes. The Crown will focus support at the larger public or society level. At the bottom of each amo are the paipai. Paipai symbolise all peoples of Aotearoa, both Māori and non-Māori, who are critical to achieve our aspirations for Te Reo. Let's move inside the whare. Remember, there are two sides to our house, one representing Māori, Te Taraiti, and one representing the Crown, Te Taranui. First to Te Taraiti, the side of the whare representing Māori. The Heke Taraiti represent Te Mātāwai. Te Mātāwai is a new statutory entity being proposed within the whare to allow Māori to determine and drive outcomes for Te Reo. Te Mātāwai will be an elected board of up to 13 members. These members will come from iwi, Māori language stakeholder groups, and co-opted appointments. The Poupou Taraiti. These represent the different groups that Te Mātāwai are drawn from. 7 of these members will be elected from iwi. For the purposes of the bill, iwi have been placed by geographic locations into clusters. These clusters are known as rohe reo and will elect one representative each to Te Mātāwai. These rohe reo are Te Taitokerau, Tainui, Mātātua, Te Aroa, Te Tai Rāwhiti, Te Tai Hau Auru, Te Waipounamu. Māori language stakeholder groups will be grouped into 4 clusters, namely education, broadcasting, community and urban Māori. 1 member from each of these clusters will be nominated onto Te Mātāwai. This collective stakeholder group is known as Te Reo Tukutuku. The membership of this group includes Education, Te Kohanga Reo National Trust, Te Runanga Nui o ngā kura kaupapa Māori o Aotearoa, Te Ringa Raupā o ngā kura āiwi, and Te Tauihu o ngā wānanga. Media, Te whakaruruhau o ngā reo irirangi Māori o Aotearoa, and ngā aho whakaari. Community, ngā kai whakapūmau i te reo Māori, te runanga o te Ātārangi Trust, the Māori Women's Welfare League Incorporated, and the New Zealand Māori Council. Urban Māori, Numa, the National Urban Māori Authority. 2 further positions will be available for Te Mātāwai to co-opt people with important skills and attributes. These roles will be specifically targeted to building the capacity of Te Mātāwai where needed. And now to the other side of the whare. The Heke Taranui represent ministers of the Crown with a responsibility to Te Reo. The Popo Taranui. These are the various Crown agencies, i.e. Te Taurawhiri, Te Māngai Pāho, the Māori Television Service, the Ministry of Culture and Heritage, the Ministry of Education, etc. The Tāhuhu is where Te Mātāwai and the ministers meet, collaborate and plan. This is Te Runanga Reo, whose role is to develop and support strategies for Te Reo Māori and monitor outcomes against these strategies. Tukutuku are on both sides of the whare between the poipo. They represent the various statements of intent and annual work plans of the Crown and the Office of Te Mātāwai in relation to Te Reo. Te Papa Kōrero is the interface between the CEO of Te Mātāwai and the CEOs of government agencies. This forum encourages greater alignment and collaboration between these groups to achieve joint reo outcomes. The Pautoko Manawa is Te Reo Māori. Te Mātāwai will be established as a statutory entity and will be responsible for the following: to lead the development and implementation of the Maori Language strategy, to ratify with the Minister for Māori Development the government's Maori Language strategy, to review reports from key agencies on how the strategy is being given effect to from both Māori and Crown agencies, to influence Te Runanga Reo to identify issues, find joint solutions and progress high-level opportunities for cross-sector collaboration, to appoint 50% of the board members for Te Taurawhiri i Te Reo Māori, Te Māngai Pāho and the Māori Television Service, to confirm statements of intent and annual work plans for Te Mātāwai and each government agency that has a responsibility towards Te Reo alongside the Minister for Māori Development, to appoint a CEO for Te Mātāwai, to allocate funding to enable community language development, and to assume all functions, roles and responsibilities of Te Pūtahi Pāho. Te Mātāwai provides Māori and the Crown with a structure that enables Māori to take a lead in determining outcomes for Te Reo Māori, particularly those for whānau, hapū and iwi. The development of strategies for both Māori and the Crown under a single overarching vision for Te Reo Māori highlights the need for both groups to work together and align their activities. Te Runanga Reo and the role of ministers and Te Mātāwai to champion Māori language strategies demonstrates both nationally and internationally the uniqueness and value of Te Reo Māori to all New Zealanders in an effective and efficient manner. It also provides for activities both at the national and community levels in a manner which helps empower and enable Māori and directs resourcing accordingly. Te Runanga Reo and Te Papa Kōrero will provide regular and consistent communication channels between all parties at both governance and delivery levels to ensure greater collaboration and the monitoring of effectiveness of these strategies through shared values and principles. These values and principles that the Māori Language Advisory Group recommend be included as part of the preamble to the bill are as follows. Te Reo Māori is the indigenous language of Aotearoa, New Zealand. Te Reo Māori has inherent mana and is enduring. Te Reo Māori has dynamic spiritual value with its own mauri transcending time and space. Whānau, hapū and iwi are the kaitiaki of Te Reo Māori. Te Reo Māori is the foundation of Māori culture and identity. Te Reo Māori enhances the lives of whānau, hapū and iwi. Te Reo Māori is best sustained through intergenerational transmission. Te Reo Māori is guaranteed as a taonga within Article 2 of the Treaty of Waitangi. The Crown recognises the intrinsic value of Te Reo Māori for all citizens of Aotearoa, New Zealand. The future of Te Reo Māori is made more enduring with active partnership with whānau, hapū and iwi through the establishment of Te Mātāwai. Te Reo Māori is an official language of Aotearoa, New Zealand. Te Reo Māori is a defining feature of the identity of Aotearoa, New Zealand. Based on these values and principles, Te Runanga Reo will be able to identify areas of priority, support and resources associated with agreed work plans. The vision is that this will bring benefit to all peoples, both at the national and community levels, and help achieve our collective aspirations for Te Reo. Ko taku whare, he whare wānanga, he whare piritahi, he whare Reo Māori, he whare Reo Mauriora e. Ahaiha!